What's good, everyone, and welcome back to another reaction video. Today, we are going to see the final part of this. The title changed last time, but this is the Ultimate DreamWorks Conspiracy Theory. This is part 3. Honestly, I'm gonna call it by the original name. No. Oh, man. Does that mean I have to change the title? This is gonna be a headache. I swear it will be. Maybe I could just. Okay, now I got issues with that. And I just realized that last video I basically just put in the same. Man, you know what? I'm just gonna call it the same thing in the title. No, that wouldn't make sense. Ugh. Okay, you know what? Just F it. Just do the reaction. Anyway, last time was pretty chaotic. There is a lot of stuff that happened. It was starting to do. It was at the beginning. It was just small, simple connections, things to add things up, little details to prove more of the theory being true, and then we got the well, the pure chaotic part, which is basically that everything in the theory might have been backwards when it came to Mort, and Mort isn't like some demonic entity out to destroy everything, but more on well, I think the point is basically made and all that. But yeah, basically went from something from simple adding up to basically making everything backwards. Mort's probably the good guy, and this whole foot thing is an evil organization cult. So yeah. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed this video. If you do, hit the like button below, hit the subscribe button to support the channel, support the content provided, and so on and so forth. Hit the notification button to be notified immediately when your video comes up. And yeah. So with this all said, let's just get this video going. Links down in the description. Be sure to give the theorizer some love and support for the video that they made that I'm reacting to. And yeah. Now let's get right on into this video. Shall we? Let's go.
Hello, I'm the Theorizer.
Okay.
And last we spoke here, you bore witness to the best theory video in existence, part 23. Even though I've taken 2 years to recover, today will be fallout from part 23, plus tying things into the renewed life of 24 and 25, followed by even more new evidence. Then I'm going to hit you with yet another customary series of plot twists and answers, but if you've seen part 23, then honestly, you're just as deep in this as I am, and I've got you right where I want you. So first, how on earth could Mort be the hero this whole time? I said this when we last spoke, and well, it's quite simple. Just take a look at everything he's done in comparison to the France-established exterminator Terminators. While he is shifty, he seems to be controlled primarily by entities such as Smart Mort, who keep the unruly variants in check. Mort as a whole is just death. No big deal, not really. He's supposed to be impartial. He reaps the souls of those who need it. He's mischievous, but he has his heroic moments. And he's not exactly on par with framing animals on his wall or installing depelter turbos. I think a lot of my irrational hatred for Mort has deluded me. Maybe. We're at a crossroads here. Before we can get solid on his morals, I have to also discuss the ramifications of this so-called backwards timeline I pulled out of my ass. Yeah, in part 23, you'll remember it slowly dawned on me that the time...
you know, that is the case here. Out of everything Mort has done, it's all not really evil in truth. It is, weirdly enough, just neutral. That's really it. Which is weird. But then again, if he is the concept that is described, it does make sense. It's neutral. It's just that. Just following what it's supposed to do.
Timeline could either be forwards or backwards. There's a good chance of both.
Weird.
It's equally possible. There's plenty of signs indicating that humans slowly devolve because of a variety of factors related to food, Sky God's feet. You know the drill. Humans are getting weaker, fatter. Technology's doing everything for them. They're eating too much, and this whole theme of evolution and de-evolution is central to almost every single DreamWorks movie. It's a critical linchpin. I can do this. I can stay calm. I know I can do it. We see fairly competent humans in the B-movie Megamind Turbo, but then they start to get more and more picky and subservient and idiotic, like in Over the Hedge in Madagascar. Shrek and How to Train Your Dragon are both sort of anomalies to be discussed, but anything involving literally regressed humanity is of suspicious placement. But if something's at the end of the timeline, you'll tend to see intelligent animals and desperate footmen littered throughout the movies.
Okay.
At the tail end, we'd be left with Kung Fu Panda, which is not only peak animal intelligence, but is also utterly devoid of any human traces. Obviously, this is a general outline, and prehistory with dumb animals can still exist, so this is not a specific timeline with exact dates. Yet. You see, for that, I'd have to watch every single DreamWorks movie and every single DreamWorks spin-off show, and then analyze each of them to their cores. That means I'd have to watch All Hail King Julian all over again, which is why I've been holding off on posting this, because that show gives me genuine panic attacks! So I have an idea. I will work my way through parts of All Hail King Julian again, but overall speaking, and certainly for all other DreamWorks properties following this video, I'm just going to keep relying on you guys. There's simply too much there to discuss. It's far too vast for even 100 parts. But now we have the tools to sort this. You know what evidence you need to comment. You know how to do it. And if it's relevant enough, I'll incorporate it into a future part. The logic segments where I sort out all the plot holes will be the most complicated, painstaking, and difficult set of videos you will ever be subjected to in the history of YouTube, and I guarantee half of you will dip out midway, but I demand perfection. So you will be the ones forced to poke specific holes in my theories when the time comes. Now, with everything recapped and outlined, let's get into today's good shit that you've all been eagerly waiting for. We've established pretty well that the DreamWorks moon is the ultimate sky god, or possibly the entire pantheon itself, maybe some sort of elaborate space station spotlight, if hints in my last video were any indication. There's a whole point I even referenced about an intelligent animal, Vincent, eating it like a sentient food. But the one thing I've been planning on covering for a while now is the symbolism behind each intro sequence. You've all been pleading for this as well, so I'll go fast. In Shark Tale, the fisherman uses a sentient worm. If you keep digging in Shrek 3, a bunch of thunderclouds cover the moon with a ray of sunshine beaming down on a critical footman. In the B-movie, straight-up Mort theory madness occurs when Seinfeld assaults the gods and steals their throne. Like, honest to God, tell me, if this is truly the moon, then how do they sit on it? Kung Fu Panda straight up has no sky gods even left, of course, and Madagascar 2 has the animal's secret weapon. The penguins ambush and presumably murder the fishermen. Monsters vs. Aliens ties the aliens back into this theory when they attack the gods. And they straight up put the moon in space by How to Train Your Dragon. Megamind proves every single point about the sky gods' duality. Don't even try me. And Kung Fu Panda 2 returns with Oogway the Usurper, or possibly Vern, as some theories say. Maybe more on that later. Rides of the Guardians, aligns the Guardians, the Croods. What the f***? I told you cave people petroglyphically worship the gods. Sherman, get your ass out of here. We ain't through with you yet. Penguins, what the f***? Antarctic ice-embedded shit. More alien abduction. Poe is relatable when he reaches enlightenment by fucking accident. Trolls music, Boss Baby Human ties, and DreamWorks itself is the gods. That's why the moon is the first letter. They created humanity. Dreams work at nighttime. Alright, so obviously I'm already derailing. Let's slow back down and reel it back in by covering what my recent additions reveal. So, Part 25, Kung Fu Panda is fascinating because in the event of a backwards timeline, yeah, I can see the possibility of Vern being Oogway in some capacities, but I can't provide copious evidence for it. It would just be cool. What's more important here is the fact that the Chi is literal life force, and we bear witness to some kind of heavenly afterlife. These are all central themes, but in a more literal lore sense, I believe that Kai is the key. He is among the last of his forces, reaping chi with his devil horns to restore humanity. I want you to sit calmly and just think about that for a moment. It's all literally true. This fits beautifully on all levels. This guy is the last of the feet, and he's a soul stealer. Legit. As far as Rise of the Guardians and Part 24 go, we already have of course covered most of it, but it's interesting that the Sandman is a kind of sun god, considering his boss is the opposite, and he makes dreams work. Allegedly, the books feature the moon being an alien, and the list goes on. But while it ties in, it's still dubious canon. The point is all the themes are continuous. All of DreamWorks' films connect flawlessly, but we'll get specific with the logic segments. The stuff most important to connect in here would be the new stuff. Ever since my Mort theories began, DreamWorks has been changing, almost as if in response. This is proven by two movies that I recently watched and were gobsmacked by, The Bad Guys and Puss in Boots 2. You see, my DreamWorks theory is so perfect that it automatically answers any and every single unanswered question from these films. Watch me solve the entire Bad Guys in one fell swoop with Mort theory right now. The Bad Guys opens up with a moon rock falling to Earth. This obviously relates to the sky gods. The film is about a bunch of intelligent animals in a society mostly filled with humans. DreamWorks openly shows dumb animals too, even ones of the same species, and doesn't even try to explain it, because they already have. You see, later in the film, they reveal that the moon rock can augment consciousness and telepathy for animals, which leads me to believe that the moon has some connection to the animal's intelligence in this world. Duh. We also see a laboratory where they are testing on animals as such, and it's possible this organization is FEET. A crucial character in this film is a red-headed, physically enhanced police officer. These augmented animals sing many times during police chases. Critical scenes here, right? Giving animals human intelligence, scientifically or otherwise, puts them on par. But just like in Monsters vs. Aliens, there seems to be a power struggle within characters. Like Wolf, with his instincts to wag his tail being a critical plot point. The Sky Gods and Mort seem to be tugging at each other's forces, trying to convert them. The Sky Gods insidiously preach love, and the moon rock is even a heart, but it's all a lie. See, it all explains how Kung Fu Panda animals could damn well be humans mentally, animals physically. Another linchpin, this insidious infusion, filling animals with compassion and the human genome. Likewise, this gerbil character's butler has literally been...
So, what's being said is, in The Bad Guys, that film, I know that one. That's the one where there was this group, they were robbers, they tried to change for a new leaf and all that. And yeah. So basically, all that together means that, I don't know. Like I'm not gonna pretend to say that I have the perfect thing, like understanding of it, but it seems like the moon rock they had allows some consciousness, and it seems like, if I'm understanding how this is going, by getting your consciousness from this rock, you essentially are playing a tug of war with defeat and Mort. I guess if Mort is the good guy, that means free will for animals with intelligence. At least that's what it seems like, I guess. Yeah, that seems about right?
Been brain swapped with the gerbil. Do not tell me this isn't the case. I told you I have all the answers. There are so many big moonshots in this film. There's this new organization called SUCM, which is deadass just feet. They're even ripping me off while they suck 'em feet. And consciousness implantation is the same pattern as to how they implant Megamind's brother into the fish's brain. This film explains it, and other films explain this. Beautiful. But Puss in Boots, now they're really going all out. Alright, so DreamWorks has changed their whole animation style and film messages in the past 3 years or so. It was good that I waited, because in Puss in Boots 2, we see the wishing star that Fiona wished upon falling to Earth and proceeding to attract a few dozen criminals to wish upon it with the beautiful little song. This is the Sky Gods. And if you haven't seen the film, you're about to be blown the f*** away. Because DreamWorks has made the executive decision to, for the first time in almost 30 years, introduce a character that is none other than the Grim Reaper himself, who, I shit you not, introduces himself as
Death. I don't mean it metaphorically or rhetorically or poetically or theoretically or in any other fancy way. I'm death, straight up.
Who did they put up against the Grim Reaper? Who did they put up against him? Why, the only character I've treated as more of an enigma than Mort, Puss in Boots, the one who transcends canons to sing in the spin-off. This wolf is either a Sky God proxy or a direct fragment of Mort. There's no disproving going on here, it all just really confirms it. He's much alike Pitch Black or Kai from Kung Fu Panda. Moons resemble scythes too, the figure of death, and this is proven outright and utterly by the fact that he's a wolf and Puss is a cat. In many cultures, notably that of Puss, the Grim Reaper takes the form of the thing the victim fears most. It's a cliche cat versus dog. Dead-ass fragment. Just like the wishing star, or the literal voices in Puss's head that the wolf so aggressively smashes because it reminds him of himself reabsorbing, perhaps? Yes! But don't even get me started on Jack Horner. He's the most based f***er this side of the inverted timeline, who is so feet that it isn't even funny because he somehow incorporates everything but the French Connection. He is the living embodiment of what I describe footmen to be. He steals all of the magical artifacts, including the Godmother's wand. He wants all the power in the world, and at the end, he is crushed into the wishing star itself, which would imply by my theories that he either becomes a god, or depending on the timeline, has been the creator and head of feet this whole time. He screams in this film, "I hate talking fairy tale animals!"
Okay. That is going to be a lot to take in. That's not a joke. That is a lot to take in. Like, I don't even know how to go about this. That's okay. So apparently, I got no idea. I am lost. Everything went topsy-turvy in all honesty. So, the wolf death is probably either a manifestation of Mort, copy made by Feet, or something else. No, it's one of those two, in all honesty. But if this is true, and that does seems to be what it's implying, we are dealing with an interesting subject now. Jeez, I don't even know how to go about this one. And this guy is probably the head of foot, feet, whatever. So, that he could have became God or became the head of feet, so he could retry the cycle over and over and over again till the organization got what they wanted in the end. That is really crazy, in all honesty.
Again, as if DreamWorks has seen my videos. He wants to be the bad guy. Awful man. I love it. He quotes himself as being dead inside, much like Mort, and he's immune to the puppy's powers. This cute little dog seems to be sort of the opposite of death, also a dog, but the side of the coin that ultimately saves Puss in Boots' soul. They're telling us something here. DreamWorks, you sussy sacks of shit. Puss in Boots sings and dances like the pattern he is, and he joins a retirement home that weakens cats run by a woman named Luna. Like the moon? Holy shit.
Oh.
Jack Horner's base is an industrial machine akin to mankind's advancement or lack thereof. Jack wears devil horns like the Horner he is. This man straight up being the do-the-roar kid head-ass. Did they resurrect Mama Bear? Puss, 9 lives because of the resurrection gods. This is the man after him. Jack sacrifices so many people in this movie. The baker's dozen, like the Muffin Man, who burnt Puss earlier to make the sacrificial foodstuffs. Fairy Godmother's wand is a piece of the wishing star. I'm reaching a threshold of insanity. Not exactly comprehensible by human minds. I have predicted the next 100 years of films. This is my breaking point. Ready for the things I forgot in part 23? Go. I believe the reason the fairy godmother's magic was reflected off of Harold is because he was wearing the royal outfit. Yes, the same royals who notoriously hated the fairy godmother and probably infused their clothing with defense mechanisms against her magic. Who knows? Maybe Charming's their son, and she kidnapped him from birth like the fairy changeling bitch she is. Though I have no great evidence for that. Why am I going off the rails of stable psyche? This is about to implode. Just the thing to ease my mind. Do you know what the word lemur means in Madagascar's language? Ghost.
What?
Makes sense, given that Alex's help sign degraded into the hellish truth. And get a load of this shit. A group of dogs is called a pack, right? A group of birds is called a flock. Well, I shit you not. A group of lemurs is called a conspiracy. I pray to the Mother, the Father, and the Holy Spirit, pineapple.
Is he okay?
They say in How to Train Your Dragon that the Night Furies are spawns of death. Mort likes souls because he's after the souls of someone's foot. When Donkey transforms back with the Sky God's magic, he literally gets picked up and dropped callously as if an invisible god is taunting him. Nana's dog has lived for decades because she's a footman with access to life extension. Basically, every DreamWorks film ends with a damn dance sequence. Nana is the Statue of Liberty, a copper French icon. Dr. Cockroach says his PhD is in dance? As he unlocks the alien ship, which is somehow locked with a musical mechanism. Plus, get this. This is why I didn't want to watch any of the spin-off shows. He literally resurrects pineapple! Finally, in part 23, I discussed how the Muffin Man from Shrek is actually a part of Feet, and is a key member in the creation of sentient foodstuff. I have come to the conclusion that he is a terroristic warlord out to destroy the monarchy. The answer?
Excuse me?
Milk. As I berated the Muffin Man on Twitter, user Funny Name pointed out what many in the comment sections have also observed, that, the tub of milk is just waiting there. They have it already! All prepped! Hot milk to fight Mongo. I do believe this is because the Muffin Man is a repeat threat. He must have some sort of an enormous industrial crematorium in his fucking basement in order to create such a giant gingerbread man. Nobody has questioned this until now. The Muffin Man is a critical footman. Speaking of the Muffin Man and milk, string theory. By string theory, I mean answers. By answers, I start with the alien genome. So here's a critical question. Why do several important footmen all look so similar? The answer seems to be that, again, they all share a dress code. This is, of course, more proof for it all being an organization, but many people have said it's coincidence. So is there any possible way I can prove to you all that it is objective? Yes. See, this is where Markiplier comes into the theory. This individual has, for lack of a better description, been assimilated by the meme cult in real life. Markiplier is, of course, the famous YouTube gamer, and has been memed repeatedly in the form of various DreamWorks characters. When I say real-life meme cult, I'm exaggerating. I, of course, am referencing the real-world nature of comedians and speaking truth to power or whatever shit. More simply put, the internet has joked continuously about Markiplier looking like tons of different DreamWorks characters. I mentioned this in part 21 as well. They all look the same. There's even one in the bad guys, to the point where so many collectively agree and just make fun of it. And thus, my usage of their dress code evidence and them looking similar and being a part of the same thing is fairly valid, because it's not just me saying it. People have seen it so much that it's become a genuine meme. It's there, and everyone sees it. Therefore, it's objective. I do also find it phenomenally strange that the letter M is central to all the linchpins I've been covering in these videos. Music, memes, magic, Madagascar, moon, mort, mutation, medieval, and of course, misotheory, the hatred of animals. Keeps going and going and going, and Markiplier, and it's coincidental to the point where I've considered just renaming this whole thing to M theory, more commonly known as string theory itself,
fair.
as this is the DreamWorks theory of everything. Oh, perfection. Perfection! We've done it. The evidence has reached completion. I thought I promised answers, though. Oh yeah, well, with all that said, all this updated evidence, those final connections, there seems to be something going on here. And I'm gonna figure out what it is right now. It's time for the big answers. Not that I even have questions to base them off of at this point, but something's all wrong with this picture. Something catastrophic that must be uncovered before the logic segments. Some ultimate solution that's being dangled under my nose. If things truly are backwards, maybe... Wait, if I got it wrong, indulge me. Could Mort really be with feet, and the animals really be with the gods? The moon, the magic industrialization. Am I losing it here? You see, there's so much shit that can push it in either direction. Same for the morals and the timeline. But there are prevailing patterns. You see why this is why we need the logic segments. It's becoming ever clearer that both ways could be possible on all fronts. Still, it's not the linchpin I've been looking for. If all this combines, Mort is still not the hero. This has officially been proven. There are no exact heroes here. That's moderately devastating. But again, bringing this together, the reversal, if the timeline is both backwards and forwards, perhaps it's somehow not based on events, but rather the movie release dates. That would explain the claymation and the 2D. It explains the newfound change in dimensionality and the low frame rates of 2020's DreamWorks edginess. This is a factor to be discussed, of course, but is it that linchpin I've been looking for? No. What's the plotline of every single DreamWorks film? Villains getting sick of their own evil. They don't want to be the bad guys anymore. I had this all written, and then I watched the new DreamWorks film where they took this and ran with it. They're opening up because everyone's ready. And this is why Jack Horner was so bluntly evil. The point was, he was unabashedly bad, unashamedly evil. This is the DreamWorks plot. The catastrophic clash of life and death, of good and of evil, spanning timelines, canons, and dimensions, as the beauty of death meets the suffering of life, and it brings destruction for the humans, animals, and aliens and organizations all.
Okay, so basically, there is no good guy, there's no bad guy. Feet and Mort are just two opposite sides. Or Mort could be working with feet, and there's some other force going on here. Or they are working together. It's just they have different ideologies on what should be going on and all that. Ugh. That is honestly a headache, in all honesty, to even think about. Like, that leads to so many questions, so many things to really think about, that it just goes and causes like a mental fart, I guess would be the correct word. Yeah, I think that'd be the correct word in this case scenario. Because, yeah. So, yeah, other than that, I honestly don't know. It leads to so many things, in all honesty. Because, again, it does make sense. It's just a lot of stuff that can contradict other stuff. If that makes sense. Does that make sense? Ugh. That's a headache. That is really a headache. I'm not gonna lie. I might be overthinking this.
All caught in the middle. I would say there is hope if bad guys seek redemption, but genomes are infusing, manipulations are occurring. If there's one colossal element that will doom everything, it's partly because this is all Mort's story. You see, Mort doesn't just seem to be one facet of this mayhem. He's the dreamer dreaming the DreamWorks. We saw this in All Hail, but what I learned from the Horseman hypothesis of Part 23 is that he's not just a clown, but the entire circus. Mort is the sentient embodiment of the biblical apocalypse. He's not merely death, but all four horsemen. This is why everything, despite pantheon vibes, still rings true of Christianity elements, because he is the end of days. He has a bottomless stomach like famine. He's a genetically anomalous mutated supervirus that spreads across the multiverse like a pestilence. And he's a damn motherfucking war criminal. Mort is the doom of us all. But if he's a part of all this and fits so cleanly into their alignment, not simply because he's the dreamer, but also because of his roles in the story, it can only mean one thing. Mort is not some foreign eldritch entity, but was a sky god himself. What does he say?
Where we come from, there are mangoes in the air.
He was one of them. He was a sky god, the god of the apocalypse. It's the only thing that fits all the evidence. This also explains death offshoots as subordinates, but what purpose does this serve? Well, that's a bit clear. As any tale will tell you, he must be the old one. The combination, the most powerful, the original. Oh, their creator. Notice how he created his own pantheon, not to emulate the sky gods, but because he created them too. They represent the real fruits around him in his actual 3D world. They are his true children. They are his undoing, resulting in one final fundamental truth. The sacrificial fruits eaten. Mort ate the lesser gods, and so they shattered him across the void in trillions of pieces. He wields the scythe. He transcends the outers of space and the timeless timeline. His intelligence spreads out to the animal soldiers of the world, and his mortal enemy, the pineapple, just so happens to be the one who takes his place as the leader. Pineapple, fruit that represents kings, father of the gods, titan of time. Mort is Kronos.
What the fuck?
You may think we're at the end of the video. We're not. The connection segments are finally coming to a close, in spite of the fact there are likely millions more connections to be had, even in the logic segments. If you haven't joined my Patreon, do so as soon as you can. Things are finally heating up over there, and you'll be the first to know things. If you do, I might start physics videos over there, who knows. But before you go, one last thing, almost forgot. Do you still somehow not believe that the gods and feet even exist? Well, I remembered one of the later entries in the Shrek lore. A short film DreamWorks made called Thriller Night. It starts by literally opening up with the DreamWorks moon fading into a real moon, which implies that the sky gods are about to do something big. We're back in far, far away for some reason, and Shrek comes barreling out of a movie theater screaming for the love of Gingy. He's terrified and crying because they just watched some sort of musical in the theater and found it to be a completely harrowing experience. As you may recall, this is due to music being the universal language. Shrek wanted something more creepy because it's apparently Halloween night. He says he wants zombies or something, and Donkey says that zombies can't sing, which is apparently something he knows about. Supernatural life granted with music. Well, Puss in Boots compromises and performs a scary musical to which suddenly the entire world's lights go out and everyone starts singing. This is poetry between opposing forces, the horror of Mort and the memes of the gods. Yes, Shrek gets mad and says, "You know how I feel about spontaneous musical outbursts." Yes, Shrek, how does that make you feel? Everyone around them also starts singing, and then we see a nearby graveyard where all of the members of Feet literally rise from their graves. All of them! This is supernatural life extension in full effect, and music is in control. A zombified Pied Piper arrives and starts playing Thriller by Michael Jackson. Shrek then realizes his entire family has been zombified as well, and everyone starts dancing in synchronicity. Shrek is being controlled as well, and he says, "Oh no, not this, not dancing." They finish the song. Shrek snaps the pipes, and then all of his zombified friends corner him and try eating him like the sacrificial onion he is before the absolutely unthinkable happens. We zoom out of Shrek's mouth, and he's screaming as loud as he can. It zooms out in the exact same identical way that it did in Shrek 4 following his return to his universe. If you recall, I determined with great accuracy that this was all the doing of the sky gods who put him in a hell loop. We see here that Shrek has in fact slept through the previews for the musical, and the whole thing was a nightmare that ended in the exact same way as his previous hell loop, which is merely the cherry on top of this mountain of evidence that proves this whole thing was a setup by the Sky Gods to torment his protagonistic self once again. Shrek then realizes the previews are just ending, which means the musical has yet to even truly begin, and he screams yet again, meaning this entire overall situation is a hell loop in which he's forced to watch a musical. This is the whole theory right here. Thriller Night is a musical hell loop in the moonlight that is memeing Thriller, which itself is the modern Danse Macabre, and all of the footmen are being resurrected to torment an intelligent beast. The proof is absolute. It's being displayed on full effect. What started as a DreamWorks joke has supplanted itself into their subconscious, and now they can't help but fill their films with feet. Any further connections come from you guys. Comment everything in Await the Logic segments, no matter how long it takes. Let it be known. Mort is the Demon King Titan of the multiverse, locked in a battle with his interdimensional children and their international cult. And if you don't believe it at this point, then you're crazy.
Okay, that's something. Yeah. That is... okay. There is so much to even say about that. Like, so much that I honestly don't know how to process it. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I really don't know how to process all that chaos. Like, at all. Since that just completely goes out of left field, not gonna lie. So, okay. I, yeah. I honestly got nothing. I'm gonna be completely honest. I got nothing. That completely went out of left field. I'm worried about this guy's sanity now because that was because with all the stuff going on there, that just sounded like he was going to snap at any second. So, yeah, that's my thought on what was going on there. So, yeah, hope you'll enjoy this video. If you did, hit the like button down below, hit the subscribe button to support the channel, support the content provided, and so on and so forth. Hit the notification button to be notified immediately when your video comes out. And be sure to give Theorizer love and support for the video that they made. So basically, there is a lot of stuff that can be going on here. Whether Mort is a part of Beat or not is undecisive. Both things work, and at the same time, don't. It's weird. But what can be said is that Mort is essentially more powerful than we all think. And that's really it, in all honesty. So, that's... There is a lot to honestly think about when it comes to this. For better or worse. So, okay. We got animal intelligence. The fact that those that are the bad guys we see in films don't really want to be the bad guys. They're just fulfilling their role and they don't like it, basically. That's basically what it sounds like. Which is actually pretty interesting in all honesty. Because that leads to a lot of details and thoughts. And yeah, that does seem really cool. So, yeah. Other than that, got no idea what else to really say. Other than the fact that Mort might be the originator of everything. From all these sky gods and all that, he's probably the originator of all that, and that's basically it. In all honesty, that's what it sounds like. So yeah. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button down below. Hit the subscribe button to support the channel, support the content provided, and so on and so forth. Hit the notification button to notify me when the video comes out. Oh wait, I already said that. But yeah, other than that, I have to say it's really strange to hear how everything seems to be related to music, even special stuff like uh something DreamWorks called or as specials is basically something related to the matter. Yeah. Anyway, again, hope you all enjoyed this video. Tell me what you think in the comment section below, because this is a mental overload, and also I feel like this guy needs a break for a while when it comes to this. Because, in all honesty, that sounds like a nightmare of what he's dealing with. Because a lot of stuff that was just put out there seemed like to have almost broken him. Again, I hope you all enjoy, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye!